The January 6 committee is set to highlight the way violent far-right extremists answered Donald Trump's siren call to come to Washington for a big rally, as some now face rare sedition charges over the deadly U.S. Capitol attack and effort to overturn the 2020 presidential election. During a public hearing Tuesday, the panel investigating the January 6, 2021, Capitol siege will examine what it calls Trump's final offensive to thwart Biden's victory. A pivotal moment came when Trump tweeted the rally invitation as dozens of lawsuits and false claims of voter fraud failed. It was easy for the far-right Proud Boys, Oath Keepers, and others now facing criminal charges to respond. We will lay out the body of evidence that we have that talks about how the president's tweet on the wee hours of December 19 of "Be There, Be Wild" was a siren call to these folks, said one panel member, Representative Stephanie Murphy, Democrat Florida, over the weekend on Meet the Press. In fact, Trump tweeted, "Be there, we'll be wild." Among those expected to testify is Stephen Ayers, who pleaded guilty last month to disorderly and disruptive conduct in a restricted building. He admitted that on January 2, 2021, he posted an image stating that Trump was calling on us to come back to Washington on January 6 for a big protest. Another witness is Jason Van Tatenhove, an ally of Oath Keepers leader Stewart Rhodes. The witnesses were confirmed by someone familiar with the testimony who spoke on condition of anonymity because the witnesses had not yet been announced. 7 hearings from the January 6 committee have produced numerous blockbuster revelations. Throughout the past month, the panel has painted a stark picture of a defeated Trump who clings to his false claims of voter fraud and works feverishly to reverse his election loss. All of this culminated in the deadly attack on the Capitol, the committee said. Committee members intend to investigate Tuesday whether extremist groups, including the Proud Boys, Oath Keepers, and QAnon adherents who had rallied for Trump before, coordinated with White House allies for January 6. Oath Keepers deny storming the Capitol had been planned. The panel is also expected to highlight new testimony from Pat Cipollone, the former White House counsel, who was aware of every major move Trump was making, said Representative Jamie Raskin, Democrat Maryland, who will lead the session. It's the only hearing set for this week, as new details emerge. An expected primetime hearing Thursday has been shelved for now. This week's session comes after former White House aide Cassidy Hutchinson provided stunning accounts under oath of an angry Trump who knowingly sent armed supporters to the Capitol on January 6 and then refused to quickly call them off as violence erupted, siding with the rioters as they searched menacingly for Vice President Mike Pence. Trump has said Cassidy's account is not true. But Cipollone at Friday's private session did not contradict earlier testimony. Raskin said the panel planned to use a lot of Cipollone's testimony. The panel is expected to highlight a meeting on December 18, 2020, at the White House in which former Trump lawyers Rudy Giuliani and Sidney Powell, one-time Trump National Security Advisor Michael Flynn and others floated ideas for overturning the election results, Raskin told CBS over the weekend. This was days after the Electoral College had met on December 14 to certify the results for Biden, a time when other key Republicans were announcing that the election and its challenges were over. On December 19, Trump would send the tweet beckoning supporters to Washington for the January 6 rally, the day Congress was set to certify the Electoral College count. Big protest in D.C. on January 6. Be there, we'll be wild. Several members of the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers, extremist far-right groups facing rare sedition charges for their roles in the attack, are preparing to come to Washington, according to court documents. On December 29, the Proud Boys chairman posted a message on social media that said members plan to turn out in record numbers on January 6, according to a federal indictment. The group planned to meet at the Washington Monument, its members instructed not to wear its traditional black and yellow colors, but be incognito. The Proud Boys have contended that membership grew after Trump, during his first debate with Biden, refused to outright condemn the group but instead told them to stand back and stand by. The night before January 6, Proud Boys leader Enrique Tarrio met with Rhodes at an underground parking garage, according to court filings, along with images a documentary filmmaker trailing the group provided to the panel. The Oath Keepers had also been organizing for January 6 and established a quick response force at a nearby hotel in Virginia, according to court filings. After the Capitol siege, Rhodes called someone with an urgent message for Trump, another group member has said. Rhodes was denied a chance to speak to Trump, but urged the person on the phone to tell the Republican president to call upon militia groups to fight to keep the president in power. An attorney for Rhodes recently told the committee that their client wants to testify publicly. Rhodes was already interviewed by the committee privately, and it's unlikely the panel will agree. The panel also intends to discuss the way many of the Trump supporters who stormed the Capitol on January 6 appeared to be QAnon believers. Federal authorities have explicitly linked at least 38 rioters to the pro-Trump conspiracy theory, according to an Associated Press review of court records. One of the most recognizable figures from the January 6 attack was a shirtless Arizona man who called himself the QAnon shaman, carried a spear and wore face paint and a Viking hat with fur and horns. QAnon followers believe Trump was secretly fighting a cabal of deep state operatives, prominent Democrats, and Hollywood elites who worship Satan and traffic children. The panel has shown, over the course of fast-paced hearings and with eyewitness accounts from the former president's inner circle, how Trump was told over and over again, as Vice Chair Liz Cheney, Republican Wyoming, said, that he had lost the election and his false claims of voter fraud were just not true. Nevertheless, Trump summoned his supporters to Washington and then sent them to the Capitol in what Chairman Benny Thompson, Democrat Mississippi, has called an attempted coup.